22, Dulwich. And Zigru, is he there? Dulwich College, the dynasty continues.
Blake Edwards with a run, just to see it! What's going? Glasgow with a try! 5.5 minutes to play! The Dulwich Cup could be headed to the Midlands, and the Dulwich dynasty could be dethroned! You're the champion!
Warwick, centre of the field. They're going to try and create, they get through the gap again, and it's going to be Nick David to score. Warwick School are victorious.
Wirral Grammar School still on the field of play after losing that final, albeit very valiantly, to Langley School, who win here at Twickenham for the first time in their history. If you are joining us for the first time today, then firstly, you've missed 3 fantastic games. However, you've arrived just in time for the main event, the Under-18 Cup final. It's Warwick School versus QEGS Wakefield. So much history between these two sides. They met 3 consecutive years in the Under-15s. Warwick taking 1, QEGS Wakefield taking the most recent. Sam Howard joining me for this one. And Sam, these two seem to be on a crash course throughout the age groups, and this is going to be one not to be missed.
Oh, I've been looking forward to this one all day. As you say, these two schools, their record in the Under-15s and Under-18 Cup over the last God knows how many years is so impressive. It's almost unbelievable how many finals they've competed in, and now they're in the final again against each other at Under-18 level. This should be an absolute belter. They're both sort of contrasting. Warwick are coached by Trevor Barker, who's been at the school for like 36 years. Proper old school coach, still shows so much enthusiasm when he's on the touchline. We played against them in the final of the play up at the St Joe's Festival, and he's still barking, shouting, showing the players how much he cares, and that's just great to see. And then Tom Pearce at Warwick, he's only just taken up, he's been at the school for a few years, but he's only just taken on the head of rugby, and again, he's a super, super nice guy who will have this team coached very, very well. And I think that this game, if it should be absolutely fantastic. If the players go out there and perform, we're in for a delight.
Well, let's have a look at the starting lineups then. Warwick unchanged from the semi-final victory over their bitter rivals Whitgift. Zach Shirley, Will Scrivens and Max Roberts in the front row. Will Kelly and Toby Adlington at 4 and 5. Thornywork, McDonald and the captain Fawcett make up the back row at 6, 7 and 8. Harry Hayward and Fred Lowe at 9 and 10. Henry Miles on the left wing. Chris David on the right. Kieran Curran and Harry Spencer at 12 and 13. Finn Smith is the fullback at 15. And Tom Pearce is Warwick's head coach. Their opponents, QEGS Wakefield. Jasper Maguire, Will Towler and Daniel Paxman in the front row. Carter Boasted and Patrick Snowball at 4 and 5, and that powerhouse back row, Sachin Gonya, Max Hansen and the co-captain Eden Kelly at 8. Alessandro Longo is the scrum half. The other co-captain Tom Stevenson is an outside half. Harry Thompson at 11, Ollie Wigglesworth at 12, Joseph Gatiss at 13, Jacob Mounsey on the right wing at 14, Harry Kelly at 15, and their head coach is Ian Wolfenden. Oscar Roberts, Alex Sabin, Joseph Jones, Roger Jackson, Jack Forsyth, Xander Eddy and Henry Mortimer are the Warwick finishers. Ed Pitchford, Sebastian Bister, Archie Milner, Lucas Smith, Jake Adams, Harrison Byrne and James Crabtree on the bench for QEGS Wakefield. Well, we're just over 5 minutes away from kickoff here. We've had 3 fascinating games today, and of course, so many teams appearing at Twickenham for the first time. It'll be the first time playing at Twickenham for many of these people, and that's what they're competing for, the Cup. The Under-18s Cup, you've had that in your hands. I'll come back to what I was going to ask you, but what does it feel like the first time, the second time, the third time, any time you and your players get to hold that trophy aloft?
It's just as amazing the second, third time as it is the first time. It's such an achievement. So much work goes in throughout the end. It doesn't start in September. It starts like these guys. They'll have the Easter holidays, and then the summer term, it all starts again. And so much work goes on off the pitch from the players and the coaches. More the players, obviously, but the coaches put in so much work. The players, and if anything, it's almost a relief when it comes around. It's just almost a relief, and you're exhausted. And it's as coaches, you just sit there and you lap it up, but the players, it's just unadulterated delight, and that's what's just great to see, that the players and the parents just absolutely love it so much, and that's what it's all about. And the supporters as well, like the Warwick supporters are always absolutely brilliant. They get their Warwick chant going, and it's great to see. There's loads of Quakes supporters there. They're coming in as well, so it is a very special occasion, and one which is actually quite rare here. Like we talk about playing at Twickenham, and it's the nerves get to you, and playing here first, and we always thought it was an advantage for us being here like second or third year that we'd been here, but most of these players have played it.
Yeah.
Most of these players, and they've played here against each other, so they know what's coming. So it's going to be intriguing how they adapt to this situation. It should be fine for them, but playing at the under-18s in the final here is a big step up, and so it'll be interesting to see how they react.
That is the voice of Sam Howard, director of rugby at Eltham, and of course winner of 3 cups here with Dulwich College, 3 consecutive cups, the Dulwich dynasty belonging to that man. Plenty of rugby to come on Free Sports, of course, this final match of today, the Under-18 Cup final, and we'll be bringing you the Bucks Super Rugby final title decider, Leeds Beckett versus Northumbria, before we move into the playoffs. We're not sure, of course, what those playoff matches will be, but we'll be bringing you live matches every week right up until the final here at Twickenham on the 11th of April. The women's and men's finals of the Bucks Championships will be live on Free Sports. Next week is the Rosslyn Park National HSBC Schools Sevens. It's one of the highlights of the year. It runs from Monday to Friday, and over 1,000 teams will be taking part. There will be highlights early in April on Free Sports. This is the only place to be watching schools and university rugby, and we hope that you'll be joining us for all of those. But of course, you're here for this. QEGS Wakefield against Warwick. So much history between these two teams, and so much success as well. Warwick 2017 champions and 2007 champions as well, losing finalists in 2018 and 2014 in the under-18s competition. They've had success at under-15s level as well. And of course, there are so many rivalries as well. They overcame Whitgift in the semi-finals. Northampton School for Boys were very impressive against QEGS Wakefield, so there are newer teams slightly knocking on the door, but once again, 2 classic rivals will be making their way out onto the turf here. QEGS Wakefield versus Warwick School, just moments away. A fantastically noisy crowd for this one as well. And we're going to need to strap ourselves in for 70 minutes here. Here come the teams, and again, 2 very different approaches. QEGS Wakefield sprinting out onto the pitch, Warwick strolling, cool, calm and collected past that under-18s cup.
Yeah, both semi-finals are tight affairs. I watched both games. Warwick's defence in the first half against Whitgift was outstanding. Whitgift were camped on their line, and that was the building block for the victory. They held out for long periods, and when they had their chances, they took them. And QEGS, similar, it was only 19-12. Northampton School for Boys, I know their coach very well, spoke to him. He thinks it's the best backline his team have ever had. He sort of thought they could do well in this tournament, but that QEGS team, they were very clinical, they're very powerful. I'm not sure whether it's Gatus or Wiggles, but I think it's Gatus. He's absolutely huge in the centre. You will see them mauling a lot. I like their tactic, that from a scrum, they put the 7 as the scrum half and they just pick up and maul. QEGS will have seen that, and Warwick will have seen that, and I'm sure we'll do something about that and have a counter to that. But I think there are so many intriguing battles out there, both number 8s, big, strong ball carriers. So it will be interesting. Both play both play a lot out the back. You'll see them hit a forward runner who will then pass it behind the back of another one to put some width on it. So I think that this should be an outstanding game tactically. I think, again, people watching this schoolboy level for the first time will be very impressed with the tactics of the skills and just the nous of these players that are out there in a Twickenham final.
Quakes Wakefield in the white, amber and black hoops attacking the try line to your left. Warwick receiving the kickoff. White and blue hoops and white shorts. 35 minutes each way. And that Oliver Thorney work with the catch to begin with there. That back row battle, something I am very much looking forward to. At the number 8 there for Quakes Wakefield, Eden Kelly gathering at the second attempt. He's easy to spot in those bright pink boots. Jasper Maguire crashing forward for Quakes Wakefield. And that is Joseph Gators. Scored the third Quakes try in that semi-final against Northampton School for Boys, the one that essentially clinched the match for them.
Keep going, keep going.
Oh, lovely ball there. Massive tackle, though. Looked as though the gap might open up for a second, but Warwick forwards flying in with the collisions.
Stay on, stay on. Stay on, boys.
Great chase on the kick. And that ball actually let go of by Jacob Mounsey there, but he was allowed to regather and go again. There's a couple of thousand fans in the stand opposite us and making a remarkable noise given we're so far away. Sure, it won't be long until we get that famous Warwick wall, as well as the offload just goes to ground. And at the first knock on, Daniel Paxman was the last man to touch it for Quakes Wakefield.
So we're seeing the Warwick defence coming up with real line speed. There's the crowd. It's great to see so many down here, making so much noise. But the Warwick defence are coming up real hard with good line speed. So Tom Stevenson, the captain of Quakes, has seen that and he's taken them on a couple of times. But this is a great position for the Warwick to attack from.
The Warwick wall.
There it is.
In the background, but we'll focus on this first scrum, and what a battle that'll be. Quakes Wakefield getting the push in early. Fred Lowe dummying going and getting them up over the 10-metre line. So Tom Fawcett in the red cap. He's the number 8 for Warwick. He's going to have a busy day today. Sachin Gonya, he's in the black cap, wearing number 6 for Quakes Wakefield. Oh, massive collisions in these early phases.
Yeah.
Carter Boestead for Quakes. The chip over the top, that'll turn Jacob Mounsey, but Harry Kelly gets there first. Got to be careful here. 3 minutes gone. 35-minute halves in under-18 schoolboy rugby. Eden Kelly waits and carries. Always willing to take responsibility for the ball in either half of the field, Eden Kelly. Box kick finds Tom Fawcett. Gets it on the wraparound. Wants to stretch his legs in midfield and no one's really going to him. He can get the offload away. Great work from the number 8. Oh, Tom McDonald absolutely smashed. Hard to believe that this is junior rugby with some of the collisions going in. Hayward. Fawcett driven on. Pumps those legs past Paxman. Hayward has to dig for it. Fred Lowe waiting. And it's Kieran Curran, the latest to get involved in the physicality.
Quakes have got to be physical. Warwick play a lot of one-out stuff. They will just come at you with their big ball carriers. You have to meet that with fire. If you just let them come at you, you're in trouble. because they do play very much 1 out, off 9, carry hard, carry hard. Fawcett will carry all day long, as we've already seen. But if you can match that, you can nullify it. But if you hold off them, then they will just eke out yards again and again and again.
Which is exactly what they're doing here in the Quakes 22, approaching the 5-minute mark. Eden Kelly tries to put hands on it, but thinks better of it.
No, you're on the side, leave now. Well done.
Referee telling Quakes to stay out. Lovely hands by Fawcett for the corner of the opening score. But Henry Miles bundled out. He put himself in a good position there, but the Quakes defence holding strong. Let's take another look at this. We'll get a good angle. It was Alessandro Longo, the Quakes scrum half, who made the tackle.
That is a great tackle.
Sure.
Wouldn't mind to see that on a TMO again, though. But it was an absolute superb tackle. But good play from Warwick. Solid driving play, attacking the blind side, and great hands from Fawcett. We've seen how he can run, but he can show he's got some nice hands there as well.
Max Hansen, the open side flanker, secures the line-out ball. And that's a good box kick to touch.
Yeah, that's a nice kick there. He's got himself outside the 22.
That's a great decision from the referee's assistant, you know. Alessandro Longo doing incredibly well. Harry Thompson had been beaten. It was just the diminutive scrum half between Quakes and Warwick taking the lead. And a bit of a breakdown in communication at the Warwick line-out, and Eden Kelly takes full advantage. Quakes back in possession, just delaying the pass before putting it out to the left-hand side.
Onside, boys.
Jacob Mounsey wearing 14, but playing on the left wing at the moment. Maguire.
And away 16, well done, really well done.
Stevenson. Just a little turn of pace from him, but Warwick deal with that well. And this time the scrum half goes, just tries to free the hands, but that'll go forward.
Yeah, you can see what he was trying to do there. He made a little bit 7 more than shoulder, but he's just thrown it a little bit too hard at him. But here's that tackle from the scrum half. Oh, it's very close.
Sure.
Very close. You say it's good. I don't know. I think that went to a TMO. It might have been a try, but it's not. Impossible to call from that decision. I think the touch judge has made. His foot's not out. I think that at top level you'll be going, that is an outstanding finish. But I can thoroughly see why he didn't give it in this situation.
Well, Tom Fawcett was questioning it nonetheless. He thought they'd scored, and he's back on the ball here. The number 8 in the red scrum cap. Harry Hayward digs for it. And Max Hansen throwing himself into defence. Quakes going through a lot of defensive work in these opening 8 minutes. Alex Green for Warwick gets away from the first tackle. Harry Kelly takes it a little bit high. Oh, huge miss pass, and there are numbers here for Warwick. They've got some back rowers in there. Have they got the hands to get it there? Oh, outstanding strength from Kieran Curran. There's going to be a conference between the referee and the assistant here, but I think Warwick have taken the lead. Let's have a look at the replay. Kieran Curran. Well, there's going to be a conference here. Let's have a listen to what the referee has to say about it.
Excellent try from Warwick. They've taken the quick tap penalty. They've gone wide right, spread the Quakes defence. Quakes will probably be a bit upset that they got round them so easily on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side. But then, yeah, that's a good try. They've moved the ball. Everybody handled. Forwards moving the ball. All the Quakes defence got sucked in over here on the left-hand side, and they moved the ball well. But that all came from a free kick given at scrum time. I never understood why you would do that at schoolboy level. You can only push a metre and a half anyway. You've got both big, strong packs out there. Almost let them have it and back your defence. But that suddenly got... Fawcett took it quickly, got them onto the front foot, and from then, Quakes were always struggling. And Warwick were good enough to play wide, and that's a good finish. And thoroughly deserved. To be fair, they've had all the possession and territory in this game so far.
Well, Curran scored the second try in the semi-final, and he's got the opener here at Twickenham. Let's have another look at this finish.
So
Lovely hands from Kelly.
Second row, it's number 8. It's a big boy for a 12, isn't he? 2 big 12s playing against each other, and he's finished. Very tough to stop him from there.
Also, the hands from Kelly and Fawcett as well. 2 lovely passes from second row and back row. Curran's gone straight over Gatiss there. Brilliant finish. 10 minutes gone, and Quakes not really found a way into this game as of yet. That's gone forward off the try scorer, Curran, though.
He's massive for a 12, isn't he? He's a huge boy, Curran.
Yeah, he is. I was trying to think of a witty retort then, but quite simply, yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Big physical ball carrier, a try threat.
So does he wear 12 but pack down at 6?
They alternated in the semi-final.
Yeah, because he's wearing 12 and he's packing down at 6 there.
Longo finds Stevenson. Now Quake's turn to try and put some width on it. Joseph Gatiss manages to get the ball away somehow, and Mountsie, he's bounced from right to left wing, and this time he takes it in on the right-hand side. Eden Kelly. Boot to ball this time. That's going to be close to the touchline, and it's straight out. Quakes still in the sheds a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, I think Stevenson's just trying to force it a little bit too much. He's taken it on himself a couple of times when it hasn't really been there to do. I think he's just got to bring his big forwards into the game. He's got big centres outside him. Just facilitate things a little bit to start with. And then when there's an absolute acres of space, then he can put his boot. He didn't have a lot of room to aim for then.
They've still got a pretty animated supporters club, if nothing else, Quakes Wakefield. They've managed to turn that one over as well. Oh, Max Hansen just trying to shovel that one on, one too many. Warwick turn it over once again. Nice pick up off the toes there for Warwick as they come to the right-hand side this time. Alex Green. Nice pick-up again from Fred Lowe. But Quakes piling forward in defence and forcing the mistake, and they've turned the ball over too. Nice feet from Gonya. Oh, look for a second, like Ollie Wigglesworth might get tucked into something tasty there. A chip into space this time. And that's an excellent chase and gathered by Quakes. It's a great cover tackle by Henry Miles. But signs of life from the Wakefield side. Eden Kelly once again hops out of the first tackle. And Max Hansen arrives. Gatiss. Slowed down a little bit. A lovely chip threatening to open things up for a second. A little bit of a mistake there. Oh, that space on the left-hand side.
Yeah, that just sums up Quakes so far. They've done the hard work. They got in behind them. What was interesting, they kept the ball for about 2 minutes down. A few of those big Warwick forwards are starting to walk because they are big lads. And then they create that overlap. the Quakes backs didn't quite work hard enough to realign because they had the overlap. I think 2 of them went for the ball, and again, it's just gone forward. Things just aren't sticking at the moment for Quakes. It's a few too many unforced errors, and there's a change straight away for Warwick, which is always a shame to see if it's an injury early doors.
Well, Joe Jones had come on as a replacement, but he's being replaced once again.
You two stay up, please.
Fascinating 15 minutes here. Warwick in the ascendancy, but only one unconverted try to the good. Fred Lowe puts width on it straight away. That gathered the second time of asking, and a brilliant hit. Thought that could have been spilled forward, but the referee happy that it's gone backwards. So physical out there in his opening quarter of an hour. Warwick go up the narrow side. Max Hansen, the open side for Quakes, making the tackle there, but Warwick managing to keep the ball in play.
Leave it for.
Well, Warwick is looking a little bit sharper at the moment as Chris David, the fullback, takes them up towards the 10-metre line.
6 is on the ball, let it go on the ground. 6. Oh, you had it.
Again, that pass very flat.
Missed it now, 8.
Fred Lowe. He's got Tom Fawcett outside him, but throws the big miss pass instead. Warwick keeping the ball alive, but the referee just stepping in when it looked as though it could open up on that left-hand side for Warwick once again.
Yeah, fair play to Warwick. They're playing a much more expansive game than they did in the semi-final against Wakefield, where it was really just a battle of attrition and one-out stuff. But I think maybe because they're getting joy from that one-out stuff, they're sucking the Quakes Wakefield players in, and once they're doing that, they're moving the ball and attacking space out wide. But again, that all came from a Quakes knock-on. Quakes have just got to look after this ball, because once they do it, I think they're going to open up Warwick, because some of those big Warwick forwards are walking around in defence. It's just whether the Quakes players can pick them off or not.
Well, keep your eye on Tom Fawcett. He's had a big part to play these early phases as Carter Boasted takes a breather for Quakes Wakefield.
Sit over the mark, stay over the mark.
Tom Fawcett been very busy in attack and defence. He's even come in as a pivot in midfield, but he's packing down an open side flanker there and just starting to look a little bit heavy-footed as Quakes come forward through. Harry Kelly, the 15.
Well done, bro. Well done,
Harry Thompson, the first there, so that's 2 pace merchants out of the next attack for Quakes.
You're too big for a scrum half.
Alessandro Longo finds Stevenson, and now a little bit of space around the outside, or at least we thought, for Joseph Gaitas. Very important tackle, just taking him down by the ankles, and Warwick looked for a second like they could turn that one over. There's a hand on it, but the scrum half digs for it. And now Tom Stevenson can kick into space. Important for a good chase here for Quakes Wakefield. But it looks like they're taking that as an opportunity to get a breather. It's hammered back with interest. And that's an excellent clearance kick up towards the halfway line. And we were talking about the difference between the kicking in under 15s and under 18s, and we've just seen a great example of it there.
Yeah, I think that Stevenson's kicked there because he thought there was nothing else on, but if he kicks, he's got to chase it, because actually the ball bounced around a little bit and could have put them on, but the fullback's just been given loads and loads of time, and he's just put that back with absolute sort of relish. Look at their net just inside their own half. Quakes have got to work harder to realign, because they're attacking well, and then the backs specifically are just walking back. And if they run back and get into position early, then they can hurt these big Warwick forwards that are actually getting out of position. But the Quakes backs are just walking back into position, which is giving Stevenson no options of what to do. They've got to work harder off the ball if they're going to break down this Warwick defence.
James Crabtree's on for Quakes Wakefield, wearing number 22. He was a last-minute addition to the squad, wasn't included in the original 22 this morning. Now he finds himself as a line-out target for Quakes Wakefield at Twickenham. They've lifted him, but it's gone short. Bit of a training ground move there. Eden Kelly takes the miss pass. Sachin Gonia supports him. And Quakes have the ball once more. He's lost a pink boot as Eden Kelly as well. It's been unceremoniously thrown away by the Warwick defenders. So again, Gaitis is the target, but he's not really been able to get on the front foot. The dangerous 13. Again, Stevenson puts boot to ball. There's no right winger at home, but that'll be pretty easily gathered. They're not putting any pressure on Warwick with the kicks, are they? They're kicking possession away as opposed to kicking for territory at the moment, Quakes Wakefield.
He's kicking almost because he hasn't got anything else to do, so he hasn't got the chasers. They're not well organised, so there's no chase, and then they're just giving the ball back to Warwick. He's not making the ball bounce or kicking it out into touch either.
Use it, please.
Warwick takes it in. Tom Fawcett has another go. And a wasted kick by Warwick this time. Gives Quakes perhaps the opportunity to counter-attack. Stevenson with a better carry this time. That's Crabtree, the substitute, just up over the gain line, wearing number 22. Eden Kelly still with one boot on. His left boot is about 50 yards away, the other side of the halfway line, as Max Hansen goes forward wearing number 7. Now can Quakes put some width on it. Gaitis shovels it on. And there's that rogue boot.
And go.
15 minutes of the first half remaining. Again, the chip into the 22 bounces awkwardly, but there's only one man chasing it and no one there to support him. That'll probably be the most disappointing thing for Quakes, as another pretty ordinary kick comes in and Quakes can put pressure on the 22 again. Harry Kelly, the fullback. And now Crabtree once more. 2 big carries from him. Referee having a good look at this one, but happy to let play continue. Stevenson. Oh, it's been picked off. Now the opportunity for Warwick. He's not going to have the gas, or is he? Oh, an excellent tap tackle. Gets the offload away. Oh, beautiful stuff. It's Tom Fawcett to go under the sticks. Quakes looking like they were going to build pressure, but Warwick get the interception. We were talking about how tired Tom Fawcett looks, but shows his engine still running to support. 80 metres up the field. And it's Warwick 10 and Quakes 0.
That try pretty much sums up this game so far. Quakes just sort of seem far too casual in everything they're doing. They're kicking the ball away. There's no kick chase. So Stevenson, when he threw that intercept, just stopped to put his hands on his head. Everyone else in the pitch legged it back. Look, the boy's working hard. Tom Fawcett, who looks like an amazing player, he's there. But you can't just kick the ball away and not kick chase. You can't just stroll around the park doing what you want. They've got a clear game plan, Quakes, and I'm pretty certain they're not sticking to that at the moment. They're not working hard enough. And I don't like to be sort of have a go at kids. I know this, but this is the ultimate final, and these guys will expect more than this so far from this Quakes tie. They're a good side, and they're not playing to their potential at the moment. And Warwick, to be fair, are making their tackles, are getting up off the line, playing well, playing to their structures. That's just a lazy pass.
It's a lazy pass, but in his defence, he had 3 players stood still. No one really giving him any kind of options.
No, you've got to be running hard. But again, it's the 9 and 10. They've got to be bossing that. They've got to be screaming, get off me, carry off me. They're the generals. Right. Quakes need to get some points in this half and get in this game, which they are more than capable of doing. They are a good side with a lot of good players. They just need to cut out their little errors, play to their strengths, be a little bit more direct, and work a little bit harder.
Well, Quakes certainly look flat in attack, but let's give some credit to the Warwick defence as well. They look organised, and I think a lot of the nullification process, and that's been allowed to bounce as well. Thankfully for Kelly, Eden Kelly, could pick that one up, and that's the first chance he's had to stretch his legs, and the offload just doesn't go for Gators. Well, there's a lot of life left in this match, but you know, sometimes you get the impression that it's not your day. Harry Kelly let that one bounce, and Eden Kelly had the opportunity to rip into the Warwick half. Eden Kelly once more. Tom Fawcett arguably winning the battle of the number 8s in the opening 25 minutes. But Eden Kelly still with plenty of time to have a say in this match. Max Hansen takes it in. Again, Thompson in at first receiver there, didn't really have any options in terms of people running lines. Snowball. Oh, Jasper Maguire.
Stay.
Well, Kelly puts boot to ball this time to kick in behind that Warwick can deal with. It'll be a line out to Quakes, and worryingly for them, Tom Stevenson is down, clutching his left knee. Let's have another look at that. What a burst of pace from Fred Lowe. Great awareness. The chase came in from Mountsie, but those support runners, ultimately the difference.
Yeah, good offload there. That's great. But you're right, though. When you look at that again, Stevens had a prop and another forward outside him who are both running away from him. You want forwards running back against the grain. As a fly half, you want them running back at you. You don't want them drifting out wide, because they're just going to get nailed. They've got to take the onus and run hard, commit the defenders. As we saw in the previous 3 games, Tens taking it to the line, other people running dead hard and straight at them. We actually haven't seen that in this game, really. But unfortunately, it looks like Stevenson's, he was hobbling quite badly then.
There's Joseph Gators. It's a fantastic shot showing exactly how many supporters have travelled down from Wakefield today. He was a try scorer at Allianz Park for Quakes en route to that 19-12 victory against Northampton School for Boys. Both brilliant semi-finals, you know.
Yeah, they were great semi-finals. Two, like, the Warwick Whitgift game was just a war of attrition for the first half, like 0-0 at half-time. You don't get many scores like that in schoolboy, like, so it was real one-out stuff, but the defence from Warwick was outstanding, and then they took their chances when they came. But there's another error.
Another chance disappearing for Quakes, but Warwick turning this into a showbiz scenario, but they've kicked that one away, and Harry Kelly will have another chance to run from deep. That's ballsy, isn't it? Offloading out the back door inside your own 22. But here's Jasper Maguire.
Carry hard.
The big front row forward, dragging it forward and trying to drag his team along with him. There were hands on that from Warwick, and signs of life here from Quakes Wakefield.
Little things in games make big difference, and I think that might just spark them into life, show what can do. Prop carrying hard, getting in, not throwing an offload, looking after the ball. Maybe that is just what they read, right in front of their supporters over there, and now they're in a good position for their line out. And they have a very impressive line out drive. So obviously they've got to get number 1 job done first, and that's win the ball. But once they get set up, they are very impressive.
Well, they've ignored the chance to get the scoreboard ticking over. And this is the reason why. Warwick send a few bodies through, but here come Quakes, marching towards the line. Eden Kelly has it at the back in the pink boots, but it's brought down by Warwick. Legally, says the referee. Mountsie waits at first receiver. Wigglesworth offers his support. Warwick surviving the first onslaught, putting hands on that. The referee communicating well as well. Telling them to leave it and giving them the option to go so, but they set up the drive once again. And Warwick defend it once again. Eden Kelly brought down, and this time, has the ball been turned over? No. And for the line, and over the line. And Jacob Mountsie opens the scoring for Quakes. It's been a long time coming, but they are on the scoreboard. Warwick 12, Quakes Wakefield 5.
That is where Quakes are at their best. Once they get in 10 yards from their try line, they are very, very difficult to stop. Warwick actually did really well. They stopped the first line up more very well. They got a little bit unlucky not to get that penalty there. Fair play to JP Doyle. There was a ref. He's trying to not give penalties away, so that's fine if he does it both ways, which he will. But once they get close to that line, the leg drive, over they go. I think that is that. Who scored that? The
Jacob
wing.
Mountsie.
Yeah,
got
so
that, the winger.
yeah, they know that once they get close to that, it's not going wide. So you get in there, they will plough numbers into the breakdowns, and they will just keep coming at you again and again. As we said, that props run got the crowd into the game, just what was needed. Now you just hope he's carrying Stevens, though he's hobbling back there across the halfway line.
Does extremely well here. Great body position.
Brilliant.
Gets through 3 defenders in the end.
Real powerful leg drive, real aggression, commitment, and now they're in this game. As we said, they were always in it, but they had to start playing better, and they've done that. Hopefully now we'll see them play at their best, Warwick at their best, and we're in for a belter.
Well, listen to the response from the Warwick crowd. That famous Warwick wall is in great voice. And if a little bit of complacency had snuck into their game, then Quakes have knocked that out of them. 7 minutes of this first half remaining here at Twickenham. It's Warwick School 12, Quakes Wakefield 7.
Much better kick chase then from Quakes, but even though we still only had one person chasing, but he managed to do really, really well.
Sachin Gonya flying out of the line again. He makes so many tackles from 6. Real workhorse blindside flanker as Warwick look to come wide again. Just having the sense to straighten up, but there's a hand on that. And Eden Kelly turns it over for Quakes Wakefield. Now there's the kick. That's a sensible kick. And it looked for a second like Harry Kelly was going to get on it, but wowee, Chris David does well to find Fawcett. But that's better play from Quakes Wakefield, not wasting the kicks, instead using their brains. Oh, and has this one gone straight out on the full? Yes, it has. Well, they're one apiece on those now, and Warwick, I'm not going to say they're rattled just yet, but that's uncharacteristic of their performance in this first half.
But as you say, the kick from Quakes, so much, it was from a turnover, so all of the Warwick players were up flat. The scrum half seen the space, he's put it in behind, he's made it land, the fullbacks chased. That was so much better. It's interesting, I saw this in the semi-finals, maybe because they are such a big pack. Warwick regularly use their substitutions. Obviously at this age you can have rolling subs, you can change as often as you like. See the prop going off now, he will come back on probably now after half-time. They really use their squad so that people don't get tired.
That's Max Roberts. He's wearing number 3 and he's going to be the latest to take a breather. Good ball at the front there. Max Hansen, the 7. Really good line-out option for Quakes Wakefield. That one gets knocked on at the second time of asking.
Well, good counter up, just a knock on.
JP Doyle brings them back for the scrum from the knock-on.
I always find it interesting that Quakes' maul is a weapon, so use it. So they had the ball there, why not just keep it going? Keep it going, rather than coming away for it. Yes, Warwick may know it's coming, but knowing it's coming and actually being able to stop it are two very different things. And they've given the ball back now to Warwick.
Sit, stay over the mark, over the mark, over the mark. Stay there.
Tom Fawcett pops it through the legs. Fred Lowe, lovely short ball to send that big number 12, Curran, crashing through the line. He's brought down on this occasion though. God, look at that collision. Tom Stevenson putting himself about in defence. You don't want your 10 doing that too often. Over half an hour gone here now. Warwick putting some width on it once more before stepping inside.
6, leave it alone.
Some good hands in that midfield of Warwick. Curran again. Oh, an absolute powerhouse, and gets away into the 22, eventually dragged down. Looked as though that run was over. And it's a 5-on-2 for Warwick, but the ball's gone down. Wakefield was scrambling in defence. That a let-off for them, but only temporarily. Warwick back into the 22.
Okay, now you're on
Final
the
4 minutes of this first half. Thorny work. Max Hansen again making big tackles from 7 for Quakes. But Warwick knocking on the door here, chasing their 3rd try of the half. It's Tom Fawcett.
Outside, get outside.
Thorny work waits, Thorny work goes. They've got Curran loitering dangerously to the right-hand side of the breakdown, but now he adds his weight to it. Just 2 yards short and bang under the sticks for Warwick. That's Thorny work, goes again. It's Max Hansen that stops him.
Leave it, Quakes, let it go. Too many bodies in the way.
There's space on the right-hand side for Warwick, but they're not going to need it.
Goal line, hands and feet.
Tom Fawcett dragged down inches short. Still acres of space on the right. But the try's awarded. It's the substitute, number 17, Alex Sabin. You talk about how they refresh the forward pack, Sam. Bringing on fresh legs, plenty of cover in the front row, and Sabin extends the lead. It's 17-7.
Superb play from Warwick. Here we see their driving work. Tom Fawcett getting to within inches. He's an excellent player. I thought Thorny work may get him with the ball here because he's just as good a carrier, but no, Sabin gets his hands on the ball. Driven over. It's so difficult to stop someone when they're that close to the line, when they're that powerful. But that all came from 2 big drives from Curran. And I talked about the Quakes line-out drive. You know what's coming with Curran. I'm big, and I'm strong, and I'm going to run at you. But it's very difficult to do anything about it. Straight from the scrum, he got over the gain line. From the next phase, he had a massive run down the right-hand side, getting good yardage for Warwick. They should have scored from the 5-on-2, but they maintained their composure. They kept the ball.
He's missed with the
and now they've got a good 17-7 lead, and a very good for that lead. Very good for that lead.
Well, credit to Jack Forsyth, another substitute in the forward pack, who added his weight to Sabin. Drove him over the line. And that's quite important for Warwick, because they'll feel they're 10 points better than Quakes in this half, and to go in only 5 ahead, that might have allowed a little bit of doubt to creep in. Oh, this could be trouble for the hooker. William Towler,
I think
a bit of bother here.
I think JP Doyle may have this sensibly. He looked after him. I think he hit him, and then he almost helped him down. It could well be a yellow. We don't want to see anything more than this. He just gets his timing wrong. But if you see, I think he then almost... Oh, it looked worse that second time round than it did in full speed.
Tom McDonald, the man down, landed on his back. It's probably winded. Got about a minute of this half left. And if Quakes have got to start the second with 14 men, let's take another look again. I think he had his eyes on the ball.
Take care of yourself when you're in the air as well, okay?
He's just landed on his rib cage there. The referee not taking any further action, seeing that there was no malice in that from William Towler.
I think that's good refereeing.
Let's go, Captain, okay?
Sensible. He's talking to the players all the time out there. Like, he came up through, he did a lot of schoolboy stuff when he was flying through our refereeing ranks. I think he's refereed this very well so far. As he should do, I suppose. But as you said, yeah, Warwick, if they were only 5 points up, you would think, well, we need to be a bit further. But again, that try came from the Quakes line out here. They had the drive going, the knock on, and Surrey, Warwick once they get the ball, this Warwick side, very difficult to get it back off them. Very difficult.
Okay, let's adjust. Hold the throw just for one.
Zach
Okay,
Shirley
we'll stay five then.
assuming line-out duty. To try scorer himself in the semi-final. Good quick ball there, Fawcett the target this time, and a rare mistake at first receiver.
Commentator's curse. Difficult to get the ball off him, and then he drops it.
17-7 is the score. Warwick 3 tries, one of them converted.
Quakes, you just got to hold over the mark a bit more, okay? Really good
Curran,
coverage,
Fawcett,
okay?
and Sabin getting over the whitewash for Warwick. Jacob Mounsey with Quakes' response. A little bit of a breeze blowing in favour of Warwick, which Quakes will have the benefit of in the second half. But you feel as though to get back into this one, they're going to need more than a breeze. There is the try scorer, Mounsey, making his way over the halfway line once again.
Well done, well done. Right foot, boys.
So this is the last play of the game, of the half, sorry.
Oh, lovely offload. Eden Kelly drops it, though. Just looked like it could open up for him for a second, but he was always gathering it. And that takes us to half-time. Warwick, certainly the better of the two sides, but Quakes not out of touch just yet. At half-time here, it is 17-7. Sam Howard, your thoughts on the 35 minutes so far? We'll be getting those after the break, because Warwick School lead in the final here, 17-7. So... Yeah, of course. To Twickenham for the second half of this under-18 RFU Schools Cup final. Warwick Schools 17, Quakes Wakefield 7. Quakes with a lot of work to do to get back into this one. Before we get underway with the second half, Sam Howard, your thoughts on the first?
I think that the scoreline sums up the half, really. Warwick were far the better team. They looked more structured. They looked like they had a game plan that they were sticking to. They were hitting their forward runners round the corner, but when they did have space, the forward runners were coming round, putting it behind the back, feeding the fly half. Fred Lowe, who's just run things very, very well with understatement. And Quakes just made too many errors. I think this is by no means out of the running for Quakes. If they get their game in gear, then they can pose problems to Warwick, as we've seen from the try. But they've got to cut out the simple errors. They've got to work a little bit harder with the ball and pose some questions to Warwick. Otherwise, they're not going to change anything. But how many times have we seen that today? Seen it so often. And now, perfect start for Quakes. And it'll be interesting what they do here, because there's a big wind. Like, looking at the flags up there, they are blowing massively straight down the pitch in Quakes' favour. So will they pin Warwick back, or will they have a go here?
Once again, Kieran Curran for Warwick, packing down at flanker.
So I think basically at scrum time he packs down there. So obviously they've got a few quicker backs out wide, and then with the ball, he's in the centre.
Well, Eden Kelly picks and goes, and Quakes Wakefield straight on the front foot. Harry Kelly trying to get the offload away, and Gatiss pounces on the loose ball. Sachin Gonya puts his head down and drives forward with the help of James Crabtree. Stevenson. He's going to have to come out at some point, and Alessandro Longo manages to get it out in the end. Another loose pass that Warwick can't quite get on the end of, and I think that might have been knocked on. Gatiss.
Okay, advantage over. Onside blue.
It's not really gone his way today, Gatiss. Very dangerous ball in hand. It's just a case of getting it there. Eden Kelly takes it in for Quakes once again. Jasper Maguire, the big prop forward, had that great carry in the first half that really lit the touch paper. Amazing, Quakes Wakefield players walking back into position.
they've got a 5-man overlap and they're just walking back.
Well, Gators gets it away to Jake Adams. This time it was just behind him though. Jake Adams on the right wing as a second half substitute.
There it is.
And it's a little bit flat from Quakes, but Crabtree puts it in reverse and manages to break the gain line. Wigglesworth creates a little bit of space for himself and gets the offload away as well. That's Mountsie, the try scorer, manages to stay in place somehow, and he's eventually bundled out just outside the 22. Oh, that is the wind. That is a stiff penalty. Sorry, a stiff breeze. The reason I've changed, the reason I've said penalty there is because the referee has reversed the penalty. Quakes won it, and it's down to some lip that they've conceded the reversal. Let's see what the referee has to say about this when he's got both captains in.
That I'm having players getting up screaming at each other's faces, okay? So that's on your guys. And then doing the same back to them. Stops. Take your time, take your time. Talk to them. Don't do that, Chief.
Well, good refereeing there from JP Doyle and Quakes Wakefield.
Just take a second.
Blowing a real opportunity there. They'd won the penalty. And then a moment of madness here at Twickenham. And they've conceded possession, and Warwick, they've let them off the hook really, because it looked for a second like Quakes might be building up a head of steam.
Again, it almost sums up Quakes Wakefield. They've got the penalty, which they would have put into the corner. It would have been 5 metres from the line. They would have been in a great position. They've got the penalty. No need for the winger jumping up and down in someone's face. Good refereeing, JP. I'm not having that on this pitch. Nobody needs to see that. And suddenly Warwick have got the ball on the halfway line. Really ill discipline from Quakes then has cost them big time.
Fawcett claims the ball at the back, and Warwick come forward for the first time in the second half.
Mind your legs.
Wigglesworth trying to dislodge the ball, but needs to make the tackle first because Warwick are back into the 22. Alex Green with the carry for the Blue and Whites. And could that little bit of lip from Jacob Mountsie be very costly here? That's the number 8 again, Tom Fawcett. 1 try so far today. Looks dangerous every time he has the ball in hand. Oh, excellent tackle though. Sachin Gonya, brutal defence from the number 6. And that's gone forward off Warwick. And at least for the time being, Quakes escape, but that's cost them 70 metres. That overreaction from Jacob Mountsie, and you talked about coaches' dreams earlier. That's a coach's nightmare.
Yeah, it's just so silly. You work so hard, you're in the right positions, there's no need for it whatsoever. What do you get from it? And suddenly they're now inside their 22 when they would have had a 5-metre line up. So the Quakes coaches will be going crazy over there. They'd have said, right, we've got the perfect start. Warwick have kicked it out on the full. We've got a good possession. We're in good territory. And suddenly now they're defending on their line again. They've just shown a real lack of composure so far in this game. Apart from the couple of minutes around their try, for the rest of the game, they've showed very little composure and shown what they are capable of, which I thought they did brilliantly in the semi-final. I thought they went a couple of scores down, but they kept playing. They kept playing well. They looked like they had good structure. They just haven't displayed that at all today.
And they have the put in at the scrum. Warwick sweeping from left to right, knocking the ball on just on the edge of the 22.
Bind. Sit. Stay over the mark. Stay there.
Tom Fawcett now packing down an open side flanker for Warwick.
Okay, that's a tackle. Let him go. Well done.
Sachin Gonya again going forward, but Warwick defending well, and Quakes perhaps not really looking up and seeing what's in front of them, because if they had done, they'd have seen numbers on the right-hand side. The Warwick Wolves strike up once again. Great noise from their supporters, but Quakes Wakefield have the ball in midfield. Max Hansen the open side flanker, and Eden Kelly waits for it and then feeds. That's a gorgeous ball out to the right-hand side. Perhaps a little bit too much on the kick, but here comes the chase from Harry Kelly. Chris David deals with it, puts a little bit of footwork on it, gets himself out of trouble. Lovely work from the 15, but then perhaps not the best kick from him. Returned with interest by Alessandro Longo, back up to the 22. Chris David did fantastically well in the beginning, but a bit too wasteful with the kick as Crabtree takes it in. It's kicked loose and turned over, but illegally, says the referee.
Be interested to see what they do here. 3 points. Will they go for the corner, or will they take, which is pretty much a guaranteed 3 points?
Well, there's a long discussion going on. Eden Kelly thinking long and hard about this, and they're going for the corner.
I think it's one of those 50-50 calls. I don't think you can say what's right or wrong there.
Well, I'll let you know in about 90 seconds.
Yeah, if they don't come away with anything, then it's probably the wrong call. But I think it's good to stay down here. Finally, they got away. It was a good kick. Fair play to the Warwick fullback. Did really well. Finn Smith got away from trouble, but then just put in a bit of a poor kick, which brought pressure back onto them.
2 meters, 2 meters. Balls at the front, yeah, more!
Phase 1 complete for Quakes Wakefield. Getting that drive on. Warwick defended it well, and it's actually burst out of the side. Eden Kelly had to dive on that and somehow managed to keep it steady with his feet. There goes the scrum half, Longo.
Fully onside now, guys. Let it go, Blue.
Somebody's lost their scrum cap, but that won't concern Quakes Wakefield as they drive towards the line. And that's been turned over. Well, in answer to the question you asked, no, it was the wrong decision, but that's been fumbled. Wowee, Tom Fawcett, of all people. But we're going back for the original infringement. Quakes Wakefield, another chance goes begging. But they're asking a few more questions in this second half.
Superb defence from Warwick here. There's the turnover, but from the maul, Quakes did a shift drive. They caught the ball from the line out. They moved it to the second pod, but Warwick just came piling through, managed to disrupt it, and then have just defended on their line for their lives. Superb defence from that maul, because it looked as if Quakes had it in a good position, were moving forward, but they managed to disrupt it. They've just got to clear this now. But Quakes here have got to be sensible. They've got to not panic. They're on the 5 metre line. What are Warwick going to do? They'll probably maybe pick up once and then they're going to kick the ball and they'll still have the ball. Don't go chasing it. Don't give a penalty away. There's still loads and loads of time on the clock. The last thing you want here is to try and give a penalty away from being over-eager, overzealous. And I know it's easy to say from up here when they're 16, 17-year-old boys, but they still got to show just a little bit more composure out there.
Okay, Big Cheek, you're going to keep this over the mark, all right?
I'd be very surprised if Fawcett and Curran don't come steaming down that channel.
Set, over the mark, over the mark. Stay on. Mind yourself, back of it.
And like you said earlier, you know what's coming, but it's so difficult to defend against. The box kick goes away, and that just drops out. That's a good clearance kick. And Warwick will be pretty pleased to not concede from that particular passage of play.
Yeah, that's a great, again, a lot of coaches hate it, a great exit, but they've got a 5 metre scrum, and now they've got the ball out to the 22. Yeah, you don't win games from exits, but you certainly don't lose them if you do it properly, which if they'd got that wrong, they'd have been under pressure. But they've good curry from Curran, you know what's coming, and then excellent kick from the scrum half. Well played from Warwick, nothing flashy, but that's how you win cup finals.
5 in the line out for Quakes Wakefield. They just send Max Hansen, he's their main line out option.
Okay, now it's a
Light open side flanker, easier to fling up. Wigglesworth puts it out to Harry Kelly. It's forced wide by Warwick. We're happy to let Quakes put the width on it. They drift over. They don't make very many yards. Eden Kelly. Oh, this a little bit better from Quakes. Wakefield, lovely work inside from Harry Thompson up towards the 22. Just knew when to straighten up then. Back row arrive for reinforcements. You've got Jasper Maguire in at first receiver here. He has been for the last couple of plays. Versatile prop forward. Eden Kelly.
Blue has roll off Quakes. Quakes roll off. Leave it.
He's been turned.
Blue has.
And he's been turned over. "25 minutes of this one remaining. Scoreless so far in the second half. Warwick 3 scores, 1 of them converted.
Wait, 6-6.
The kick won't go out. That'll be fielded by Quakes. Back inside their own half with a chance to counter-attack. They put boot to ball. There was a suggestion of late contact there, but they go flooding over.
Gold, high gold, 15, high tackle.
High tackle.
15 gold.
Advantage coming for a high tackle here on that kick chase. James Crabtree makes the tackle.
Advantage over.
Advantage over, but there are some numbers here for Warwick. Just when it looks like there might be an overlap, Quakes start to respond, start to trust their defence. And it's not a great kick either.
No, you talked about the prop that's standing at first receiver, but he's standing there and passing. Like we've seen when he actually ran up the right touchline, he absolutely bulldozed over people. Carry hard and do what you're good at. Which is exactly what Warwick are doing. They're not doing much flashy. They're carrying hard, and when they are sucking in the Quakes Wakefield, then they're actually moving the ball very well. They make the decision on when they should go wide and when they should hit up is spot on at the moment from Warwick. And Quakes are going wide when they haven't got an overlap, and they're smashing it up when they have got overlaps.
Well, Warwick fans absolutely going for it again, and I think, going back to Jasper Maguire there, when he does get the ball at first receiver, he's isolated as well. If you compare that to the Alex Sabin try, admittedly, that was a very different period of play in a very different part of the pitch, but Jack Forsyth was on his backside and he drove him over. Oh, glorious offload there from Warwick. They're the ones playing all the rugby here, but Jacob Mounsey has turned that one over. He's managed to free his hands as well. Paxman this time. Yeah, when Maguire receives it, he needs Towler and Paxman or one of the second rows on his hip, on his shoulder, and just pushing him through. They're not really giving each other that support.
You don't know what's gone on. Like, they don't look that sharp. They don't look like they're not quite at the races, getting to the breakdowns, attacking with speed. Warwick are just doing everything a little bit quicker than Quakes at the moment, and which is a shame. Like, of a neutral, but Quakes have lost 4 times in the final.
Yeah.
I just think it'd be fair. I'd love to see them win. Trevor's been here for it, but I think he deserves the trophy. If they don't win, at least go out fighting, at least have given it everything, and it doesn't seem like they're quite there at the moment this afternoon, because when they are a very, very good side.
Referee just warning the Warwick scrum half there, as that's a nice break from Wigglesworth. Just looks like he's one shirt pull away from smashing through. That's happened a couple of times. Beats the first tackle and they just get a handful of jersey to stop him when he's about to hit his straps. Crabtree with another carry there. He's been busy since he came on. Eden Kelly just losing his footing as he goes into contact. 22 minutes of this one remaining. Flat ball. Quakes come forward once again in between the halfway line and the 10-metre for the Wakefield school. Got the narrow side this time. Jasper Maguire once again. There are Warwick hands on that, and they've turned it over. What do we say about Maguire being isolated?
Exactly what you said. He's gone on his own. I'm not sure who it was. I think it is it Tom McDonald? It's probably the smallest forward on the pitch, but there's a few times he's over the ball like an out-and-out open side, doing what he should be. As soon as there's a tackle, he's over that. As we saw in the last game with the under-15s of the Wakefield hooker, he's slowing down the ball and he's got the penalty. And now Warwick, for the first time in a long time in the second half, are actually down in the Quakes Wakefield 22. And again, you just felt in that last 10 minutes when Quakes had a little ball, a bit of ascendancy, they needed to get some points on the board, and they haven't done that. They're going to have to defend heroically here.
Move it away, move it away, move it out.
Straight into the 22, and now putting width on it from right to left before they step in. But that's good quick ball, and there's that powerhouse Curran. Once again, Quakes Wakefield committing 2 or 3 tacklers to him, which is the best way to deal with it. Max Roberts back on the field of play for Warwick.
Stay up, please, Warwick.
Wakefield's defence set, but Warwick coming into the 22 again. They're backing off Curran, and you can't afford to do that. They give him 3 or 4 steps. Oh, and that's another try for Tom Fawcett. It was off the carry of Curran, and he just strolled under. That is too easy for Warwick. And 22-7 with 20 minutes remaining. Well, Quakes Wakefield looked organised in defence. Didn't look like there was going to be an awful lot of trouble, but they backed off and backed off that man. And what happened here? Wigglesworth wasn't even looking.
Great awareness from Fawcett. He can do it all, he can carry, he can tackle, make good decisions. But again, from that, Warwick's attack was outstanding throughout. They've taken them wide right, they've taken them wide right, left. But what you see them do, when off the ball, the players are working so hard to get deep so that they can actually carry. If you see their alignment, you may not see it on the screen, but the Warwick players are so deep. When they do carry, they're carrying hard, they're running onto the ball. Whereas the Quakes guys are standing still, they're all too flat, and they're posing no threats. But that, again, is generally coming from work rate. The Warwick players are working so hard off the ball. You can see them sprinting to get back into position, and that enables them to carry, to go forward. And when you've got people like Curran, now look how many Quakes players are around the ball there. There's 5 Quakes players there, and he just picks and goes straight through the middle.
Mortimer converts it, 24-7, Warwick lead.
10, got 10, no problem.
On the 10.
Went 10.
That's a good response from Quakes, but can they transfer that into points on the board, which is what they need here? Because Warwick on the verge of disappearing out of sight in this under-18s cup final.
Onside, please, you go back.
It's already a 3-score lead they have. Jake Adams steps inside. Sachin Gonya. Was well tackled by Toby Adlington. It's Hansen. He's not had many carries today. He's been useful at the breakdown. Eden Kelly almost runs into Sachin Gonya, but they've been turned over again. Oh, massive hit there from Jake Adams. Squares him up and puts that left shoulder in. But it's come back Warwick's way. Nice kick to turn. The Quakes fullback sends Harry Kelly right back into his 22. And now they've got that 3-score lead. Territory very much their friend.
Really, really composed, clever, intelligent rugby there from Warwick. But again, it came from the turnover. I think it was Kelly, big, strong forward. He's running across the pitch. He's on his own. He's flat. Warwick smash him, turn it over. Couple of phases.
That's right, it's a big pitch.
Fred Lowe looks up. There's nothing on that side. There's a load of space. We're winning 24-7. Play from your own half.
Quakes have Managed to get the ball there, and Kelly carries it forward once more. Still keeps grafting Eden Kelly, although it's not particularly gone his way today. Jasper Maguire puts Mountsie into space. Frustration from Quakes Wakefield's number 14. He's got a little bit of cup final cramp. So I want to have a look at this, because watch Ollie Wrigglesworth here. Looks over there, just turns his back on play and allows Tom Fawcett in. I mean,
basic stuff. You're in guard position. You got one job: make sure nothing comes through there. That's all you got to worry about. But I think he's trying to almost do the job of everyone there, because people aren't doing their own jobs. He's almost trying to organise the defence out wide because he's worried that someone else isn't going to do it, and he's looking out there going, whereas actually you can only do your job. You can't do everybody's job for them. But there was a good bit of play there from Quakes. They need to get something from this.
Goes short again to Hansen, but that's been turned over. Oh, and that's a clean break. Oh, wonderful feet as well. Brutally elegant. Forwards breaking through from 22 to the halfway line, and Warwick looking like they're not done yet. 24-7 they lead here at Twickenham. Still 15 minutes of this one remaining. Fumble then gathered.
Mind yourself, 16, well done.
Wigglesworth
Well done,
star jumping like a handball goalkeeper, anticipating the pass that never came.
lift it, you gotta lift the ball, eh? You gotta lift it up, don't just go on the ground.
There's Curran with the big carry once more. Oh, the full back goes this time. And Quakes. Oh, goodness me. Just when you think they need something to lift them, it arrives in the form of a crunching tackle. And the recipient of that has stayed down, and it's no surprise. Harry Kelly dragged down, and he's isolated now. There are hands on that by Warwick, but he just manages to present the ball, and they've got away with one there. Eden Kelly, as he often is, the first outlet for Quakes Wakefield from number 8. And a better kick from Quakes. Into space. Let's have another look at this hit in midfield. Absolutely gargantuan shot.
Bodies everywhere.
Jasper Maguire and Max Hansen.
Yeah.
Well, Maguire, he's gone through a lot of work, and in the build-up to that, he actually looked a little bit tired. But he stayed relaxed, got in a great body position.
That is a massive hit. There have been some big hits, but again, line out on the 22, I think it was Jack Forsyth. Superb break from Warwick, relieved the pressure. Ted Lowe's then what? Ted Lowe? What was he? He was darts, wasn't he? Ted Lowe? Fred Lowe, again, relieved the pressure with a big long kick, okay, and put the pressure back on Quakes. Really sensible, mature play from Warwick. But again, just an example of Warwick using their subs really well. There's constantly players going on, off. Everyone that comes on is adding to the game as well. It's not so they've got a real good squad, 22 players. They're happy with all of them going on, coming off, interchanging. Really, really good play from the Warwick players and coaches that have got a whole squad buying into and playing well within the system.
Because that's the thing, isn't it? Very often you bring replacements on, it sometimes disrupts the pattern, but we've not had any of that with Warwick today. It's been knocked back. It's just gone forward, says the referee.
No, you do often find to win these trophies, you need a squad. You're going to have injuries. Like we saw that in the Langley team before, that 5 of them didn't play in the semi. You're going to have games where there's other commitments, there's going to be injuries, whatever, and you need a squad of actually 25, 26 that all can slot in, and Warwick have obviously definitely got that amongst out here.
13 minutes remaining. Warwick School in the ascendancy. 24 points to 7 they lead. Tom Fawcett with a couple of tries. One in each half, just the one converted try in this half. 17-7 was the score at half-time, and now Quakes Wakefield again. One-up stuff, isolated, it's over the gain line, but not as dynamic as we're used to seeing them. Wigglesworth. And again, Warwick rise up in defence and stop Sachin Gonya. Eden Kelly attacking the ball at pace this time. Stevenson. Jasper Maguire at second receiver this time, but he has some support. Alessandro Longo. Stevenson, oh, I thought for a second he'd thrown another interception. It's come back to Quakes Wakefield, but they're 30 metres further back than they'd like to be.
The thing that Stevenson's doing, and it's so difficult to do, if you're going to take it to the line, you can't then throw long passes, because you're inviting the defence onto you and they're picking off. If you're going to take it to the line, you've got to put people through gaps. People have got to run off you, because otherwise you're just going to get picked off easily, which he's done twice, because obviously the ball is in the air for a long time and you're a lot closer to the defenders.
Yeah, open play. Well done, Quakes.
Quakes nearly got turned over again, but just managed to keep on to that one, and now finally they put some pace on it. Harry Kelly finds Jake Adams, who's bundled out into touch, and we're an hour into this game, and that's the first time Quakes have attacked with any kind of zip.
And it all came because they had depth, so all the players were running onto the ball. They did a little decoy where they went behind one of the forward runners that was actually running, so he held the midfield of Warwick, and then they came on at pace. That was the first time they've actually done that. There's a lot of boys cramping out there. It's a big old pitch. But Warwick's defence, and talk about sort of Quakes aren't going anywhere, but the Warwick defence has been outstanding. They just keep coming forward. So from that lineup over there, I think Warwick went back about 20 yards just because of the intensity and the line speed that Warwick are throwing at Quakes. It's been a very, very impressive performance from this Quakes outfit. Sorry, Warwick.
Penalty advantage, number 4 pulling at the lifter, okay? You can't take him out.
Well, Quakes managed to get the throw in at the line out. Jake Adams got the offload away and it came off a Warwick body. There's advantage for the penalty coming here, and we'll come back for the penalty.
You tackle the lifter, not the man with the ball, okay?
Because Harry Thompson, well, back in the old days, we'd call that a hospital pass. There was no gap, and Stevenson got the offload away anyway.
So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, here you go. So their number 7 is now at scrum half. So what they will do is put it in, and then they will straight away set up the maul. It's a long way out though to get that maul going, and it'll be interesting to see how JP Doyle refs this, because sometimes they come very close to blocking when they do this.
They're about 15 metres from the try line, and the scrum's being taken backwards, and they've given away the free kick of Warwick. We'll reset the scrum instead.
Outstanding. We said that Warwick will have a way of combating this. Warwick have put Tom Fawcett to scrum half. So when Quakes set up this maul, Fawcett, I dare say, is going to smash the hell out of it. And obviously the first part of doing it was to actually scrummage, which is what Warwick did. Really good sort of tactical changes from both teams here.
They're going to go up the blind side instead. Max Hansen takes the contact. Now Quakes have the entire width of the pitch to work with, but they're going to keep it narrow. Sachin Gonya with the carry. Runs into a Warwick wall. Oh, lovely hands. It could have gone then, but it was a tough pass from Mountseed. Perhaps did the right thing as opposed to throwing a Hail Mary. He keeps hold of it, and Quakes still inside the 22. Jasper Maguire, once again, he's in as a pivot. I don't understand it, but it's obviously part of the master plan for Quakes Wakefield. And now they've got Jacob Mountseat taking the kind of crash ball that Jasper Maguire probably should. Eden Kelly. Oh, well played by Kelly. Still pumping those legs. Over an hour in. And now Quakes attack the line.
Let it go, Blue.
Joseph Gaitus brought down 5 metres short. Stevenson finds Crabtree. He's taken on a lot of ball, the second rower. Warwick with plenty of defenders, so Stevenson takes a contact, and Alessandro Longo's been pushed out of the way. And Warwick, as a result, have managed to turn the ball over.
I'd like to see that again. Like, the bloke's just smashed Longo when he's nowhere near the ball.
In front of the referee
yeah,
as well.
Straight in front of him. I know JP Doyle wants to let things go out there, but it's not American football.
7 minutes remaining. Warwick have done enough in pretty much every area of the pitch to be worth this lead that they have here at Twickenham.
So that's outstanding defence. Like, obviously Warwick, Quakes want to set up that more. They haven't done it. They've gone the other way. But Warwick, that's what Warwick are happy with. Warwick are happy, right? Do something else.
Let's have another look. Keep your eye on Longo.
Yeah.
He's wearing number 9. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Fawcett, he's big. Longo's there to be hit. He'll say that he was just trying to turn the ball over. The referee had a good look at it.
I suppose Longo was stood on the wrong side, blocking, so if you're going to stand there, this is what you're going to get.
Well, Max Hansen, he really has grafted. 6.5 minutes to go, but it's looking like it's going to be on a losing course. Jasper Maguire again.
He's everywhere.
He is. Heck of an engine on the boy. Patrick Snowball up to the 22 for Quakes Wakefield. A little bit of pace now from Eden Kelly. Sent backwards in the end, then he's lost that once again. Warwick find a way to get their hands on the ball. It's been a tough day for Eden Kelly, like so many players. He's put his hand up for work, but he's not been given any support whatsoever. And it's a long day out there for a ball carrier at number 8 when you're not getting the backup you want.
No, when he's carried, a lot of it has been lateral though. When he's carried straight.
Oh, that's been picked off. Fawcett back into the 22, 2 tries already. And if there's a moment that sums up this cup final, that's it. Warwick 10 metres short, looking for the try that would put the icing on the cake. Three metres short. Oh, massive power again from Curran. Referee having a good look at this, deciding they're short. Fawcett waiting on the right-hand side. He'd love a hat-trick. Someone adds their weight, but it's been knocked forward. And a let-off there. Oliver Thornywork trying to drive him over for that hat-trick try.
What, again, outstanding play from Tom Fawcett. Great line speed. They've had line speed all day in defence. As we said, Quakes know what's coming. You've got to get deeper. You can't take it to the line and then throw out a long pass. That's the 3rd time that's happened. Warwick are just picking it off. And then fair play again. They've shown great defence to hold them out at the end then. I think Fawcett was probably a bit knackered after that run. He should have come from a little bit deeper, carried hard onto that. I think then he would have had his hat-trick rather than standing still. But a great bit of defence. He has got through a mountain of work this afternoon, as have a lot of players. But again, Quakes are just dishing it up on a plate to Warwick and saying, there you go.
There have been a lot of Quakes players who've worked hard, but it's not been... What's the word I'm looking for? It's not been good work, has it? It's not been efficient. That's the word I'm looking for.
So it's like busy fools.
Yeah.
Working hard, but not in the right way. And yeah, you can't fault a lot of their desire. He's been outstanding. Oh, that's always nice to see, the big cuddle between coach and captain.
Let's go, let's go.
2 tries at Twickenham, and it's going to be in a winning cause as well. In a couple of minutes' time, Sam Howard, I'm going to be asking you for your man of the match. 24/7, Warwick have been in full control. This hasn't really been a classic, though, has it?
Unfortunately, no, just because Quakes haven't really performed at their best. And it's great to see, like, I think the first game of the afternoon may have been the best game, because both teams were probably at their best, which is what you want. And that, again, just sort of sums up. When teams don't go out and just play to their full potential, then you feel sorry for them, the parents, the fans, everyone that's here. This is where you don't want them to fail. You want them to go out and do their best. And if it's not good enough, then it's not good enough. Someone has to lose. But at least don't go into your shell. And unfortunately, Quakes just haven't quite been at the races this afternoon, which is a shame, because the previous couple of finals I've seen them in, they've been outstanding, but just haven't quite been good enough. Today, they haven't been at that level. And I think if they had been, they'd have been in with a chance.
Well, some looks of resignation from the Quakes bench there.
Come on, get out of there, 6.
And here come the Warwick pack.
Keep it up, keep it up. Don't put
Told
it
to
down,
keep
please.
it up by the referee. That's exactly what they're doing until they get to the line.
Let it go.
They're not going to be able to ground it on this occasion, though. Oh, once again, that's a brilliant tackle. It was Max Hansen who was in there, but they won't hold them up this time. The referee's given it. JP Doyle. There are heads in hands. And Warwick, 29-7, comfortable winners here. Still 3 minutes on the clock. But it's been a complete performance for them. In matches like this, it's all about winning, and they have found a way to do that.
Yeah, they've done the job. They've been clinical, for want of a better word. They've been professional. Who got that?
Roberts, the prop forward.
Excellent. And they've all worked really hard. As I said, the bench, they've used their subs well, but the scoreline doesn't flatter them at all. I don't think they've been good for that score, but I think you can only play what's in front of you, and they've taken their chances, and they've just been gifted that. They get the scrum there on the line. They carry. They use their big ball carriers. Yeah, they've been super clinical, super polished. They've had a clear game plan which they've stuck to. They've executed, and they deserve to thoroughly get their hands on that trophy. And they have been the best team in this tournament.
Harry Mortimer with the attempt to conversion. He slotted the last one. But this one is going to drift wide. 29-7. Last couple of minutes here at Twickenham. Let's have another look at this. Still quite a bit of work to do. Did Max Roberts, goes round the long way, gets low, gets underneath James Crabtree. It's a long way down for those big second rowers.
But again, there's no way he should be able to pick up from the left-hand side, get all the way round and score there. He shouldn't be able to do that at this level.
And the Warwick supporters find their voice for the final couple of minutes. No doubt they'll find it again for the trophy lift. And this will be the second in a row for Warwick as well. Champions in 2017, they'll add 2018 to that. Well, 2012, 2013, 2014, of course. They'll bring back happy memories for you. 2 in a row for Bromsgrove, 2 in a row for Whitgift, either side of that Dulwich dynasty. Warwick will double up themselves. And I'm going to have to ask you for a man of the match, Sam Howard.
Use it away, come on.
Luckily today, most of the games, apart from that last game, most of the games has been pretty easy. Fawcett has been absolutely outstanding in attack and in defence. I think in a very understated way, Fred Lowe has run the game very well from fly half. The rest of the Warwick players, none of them have been outstanding. They've just all been very good. They've all been very good. But I think Fawcett is a standout player who's just that little bit. He's shone out there. He's led from example. And Tom Fawcett is man of the match.
Well, we saw how much it meant to him and the coach and the reserves when he was subbed off for the last few minutes. Lovely moments for him, captaining this side. So much, I know it sounds crazy at schoolboy rugby, but so much expectation on these teams. They know that year in, year out, they're expected to get to the latter stages. And there he is, the number 8, to come here as the leader of this team, looking to lift the trophy for the 2nd year in a row, to score 2 tries.
Serial offender there.
And he gets the congratulations from his teammate that he deserves. Brilliant day for him. Tom Fawcett, captain of Warwick. 2 tries, a man of the match, and he'll get to lift the trophy as well. Tom Stevenson, he's the captain for QEGS Wakefield. How do you... It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because you say, how do you bounce back from this? They'll be out the next week, they'll play rugby again, they have the 7 seasons to look forward to. And, you know, you always, sometimes you look back on your defeats and what happens after them with some of the fondest memories. But I think as the ball goes out, that's going to be full time, and it is all about Warwick School. 29-7. This was the match we were looking forward to. They've done so well to nullify everything QEGS could throw at them. They've shown grit when they needed to. They've shown class when they've had the opportunity, and they are the worthy winners today.
Oh, absolutely. They've been excellent in attack, in defence. Their error count has been very, very low. They carry hard. They're not doing anything out that you're thinking, wow, that's absolutely amazing. Just everything they do is spot on. And at schoolboy level, that is often enough. You don't have to do much more. But when you're doing it again and again and again, you're getting up off the floor, you're working hard, you're making tackles, like their line speed and coming off the line. Again, like QEGS were just running into a blue and white wall all afternoon and didn't really have the answers to it because Warwick was so good at it. And when they had the ball, they kept it very well, and they were they either smashed it up the middle, they went wide, or Fred Lowe put them in the right areas with his boot. Very, very accomplished, polished, very good performance, and thoroughly deserved to win this game.
Well, let's take a look at the highlights of the match. Warwick barged their way over through Curran very early on. And that man there, Tom Fawcett, getting his hands on the ball. Man of the match performance from him. It was a complete performance as well. We saw a beautiful pass there to put Curran in.
Yeah, he's drawn them. QEGS know all about him, so they have to hold on him. Then he gives Curran, all he's got is 5 yards out, and you're not going to stop him from there. So, yeah, Curran was very good all day, did what he had to do, carried. Great read there from Fred Lowe. Kept the ball alive. Another offload. There's Fawcett, as always, in support like a good number 8 should be. Over he goes. But again, you see those 3 QEGS players all running away from the fly half. They've got to be running at him. Like Fred Lowe had the wherewithal. I'm not going to die with this. I'm going to keep it alive. Curran is there. It just shows they've got that will, that desire, that willingness to get there, which they displayed all afternoon.
Well, this was Jacob Mounsey. He was the one chasing back for that try. He gave away that penalty for use of the lip, but he had a good game at 14, didn't he? A hard-working right winger.
I think he's one of those who wants to get involved, which is probably what led to the lip. He's just so in the game, and he probably deserved that try. But again, that was the soft try where Fawcett just literally picks up and goes through. Again, he's done really well to score that, Max Roberts, but he shouldn't be getting in, picking the ball up and running almost round a ruck to score. So number 19, 22, 8, 1, they're all there. There's 5 QEGS boys there. That should be stopped.
I think by then they were out on their feet.
Yeah, I think they were. Yeah, they were, and I think they were just being pummeled again and again and again by a very, very good Warwick side that just kept coming. Just kept coming with big ball carriers, as I said, whether it was the starting team or the boys coming off the bench. They carried hard, they ran straight, and they just kept making QEGS defend all day long, basically.
Well, those are the cup runners-up. We'll be having the medal presentation ceremony shortly, and I'm not sure I will have the opportunity to speak to you about this again. What are your thoughts of the day overall? 4 really interesting cup finals we've had today at Twickenham.
4 very different games, but 4 really enjoyable. Normally there's one that you think, oh God, that wasn't the best, but actually they were all really enjoyable. Obviously, to start with, Beach and Cliff were very, very impressive, but Kenilworth gave their all. They didn't make many mistakes. Unfortunately, Beach and Cliff were just better than them, but it was a good game, very few mistakes from both teams, which was great to see. Whitgift were just a massive power machine, and there wasn't a lot Manchester could do about that. They battled bravely, but Whitgift just had too much power for them. And again, the Langley score were just too good. For Wirral, but it was great to see them playing that. The quality of rugby they played was outstanding, very expansive. The back 3 were outstanding. So 3 great games leading into this one, and this was, for a coach, it was good to see a performance like that from Warwick. Like, dare say, we used to play a bit like that. We tried not to make errors, try and play almost professional rugby, and they did that very, very well. It was just disappointing that Quakes didn't quite come to the show today, and I don't think they'll agree with that. They know that they can play better than that, which is disappointing. But it's gone. There's nothing you can do about it now. It's gone. A lot of them will now leave the score. There's no point mulling over it, being down on it. It's gone. There's nothing you can do. Sometimes everyone has those days at work. You have bad days, you have good days, and unfortunately for them, it's been a bad day. They've been done brilliantly to get here. Like, the semi-final was a great day. The back at Twickenham, the school is still on the map, and they will be here again. And you've just got to try and relish being at Twickenham, which isn't easy when you lose. But again, massive credit for them getting here. And sometimes you just say hands up to Warwick. They were very, very good. It would have taken an outstanding team to beat them today.
Well, they've got to walk past the cup. It's been a real graft for them throughout, actually. They got past RGS Newcastle by just 1 unconverted try, 12-7. In round 3, they actually drew with St. Peter's York and went through by virtue of the fact that they were the away side. They were strong and controlled, which is what we're used to seeing from them against Northampton. The big, strong Yorkshire side, we're always used to them being physical, being direct. They weren't really able to get that going today, and I think Warwick deserve a lot of credit for that. They weren't there to be bullied, they weren't there to be physically manipulated. They fronted up to everything Quakes could offer, and I think the fact that they were forcing big, strong ball carriers like Eden Kelly to go sideways and go diagonally shows that. Very much so. Most of the credit has to go to Warwick. They were outstanding, they got in their face, but Quakes can be like us. Up at the St Joe's tournament, they were everyone's favourite, and they didn't even qualify for the main competition up there because they just didn't turn up. Day 2, they turned up and absolutely blew everyone apart. So as a coach, it must be so frustrating that when they're on fire, they're probably a match and better than most teams in the country. But they've obviously got a tendency to switch off at times, and unfortunately today was probably one of those days. But as you say, Warwick withheld and withstood everything that Quakes threw at them, and Quakes almost had nothing else to do. They had to try and run sideways, because Warwick, as I said, it was a blue and white wall that was just coming forward again and again and again. And I said that one of the nicest parts of the day, as they walk up, all your parents and friends are there. You're walking up, you're shaking hands and cuddles, going up to lift the cup. And they're getting a good round of applause from the Quakes supporters as well, in the black and yellow, lining either side of that staircase. Talk to me about these moments here. Of course, you're the coach, so you're watching on, but it must be an immense feeling of pride as those players get the gold medals around their necks. That is the one word. You are so proud of them. They work so hard. You just want them to go out. You know what they can do, and you just feel like, even talking about it now, you get the goosebumps of how proud you're looking up at them, and you just want them to enjoy the moment. You just take a back seat and you want them to soak every little bit of this atmosphere, every little bit of this moment, so that they can remember it. Like, as I said, cuddle, kiss your mums, your dads, all your mates, love all that bit, celebrate as a team here. Like, this bit was always the favourite bit of the boys, getting to lift the trophy, all scream and shout. And they have
you cannot underestimate how much work these guys would have put in. They would have been in over the school holidays. They're in probably before school in the gym, after school rugby training. A lot of sacrifice. You see this and everyone's go, aren't they lucky? And yes, they are. But the sacrifices that they've made to get here, not just them, their parents ferrying all over the place, the coaches. And this is the moment you do it all for, when your captain lifts this up and you all scream and shout like a bunch of maniacs.
Well, Tom Fawcett, he scored 2 tries, he's got the man of the match, but this will be the moment to top them all. Warwick School, champions in 2017 and champions in 2018. Twickenham becoming a second home for Warwick School. A marvellous performance today. 29-7, they are victors over Quakes Wakefield. And these memories that will last absolutely forever for these boys. And I'm sure many will go on to play professional and semi-professional rugby, but none of them will ever forget this moment at Twickenham.
You know what? It doesn't matter what level they go on to play, as long as they play. And that's the main thing. Like, a few of them will go on, but again, one of the most pleasing things for me, nearly all of the Dulwich boys are playing at university, whether it be for Freshers' side, for the third 15, for their local club, and that's what you want. They've got a love of the game, and you want them to play for whoever it is. And it's obviously, if they go on, then that's superb. But please just carry on playing rugby and enjoying the game. But they won't get many days like this again, no.
Warwick School are the under-18 Cup champions. They join Langley School, Whitgift School and Beach and Cliff School as the victors here today on another brilliant RFU Cup Finals day at Twickenham. We've brought you 8 finals live over 2 days, and 4 teams today have made history. Seems quite fitting that despite the fact we've had some new champions, we've seen some new talent coming through, some new schools really make their name. It's Warwick and Quakes who end the day.
They are the 2 teams of the Cup, really. Like, obviously, Wellington were in it for so long, but don't enter the under-18s anymore. But Wellington, Warwick, Whitgift, Quakes, they're the teams that are competing in semi-finals, finals, under-15s and under-18s, year in, year out. And as a word must go out to Quakes, like, it's the 5th time that they've lost in a final. It's like, you can't help but feel sorry for them. They're a really great school. They're really friendly people. Like, you just saw all the supporters clapping the Warwick fans up there. They're a great school, and you just hope that sooner rather than later they do get the hand on the cup.
And what about the players as well? They've met in the under-15s before. Obviously, one team's in the north, one team's in the Midlands. They only seem to cross paths on the biggest of occasions, and it was this team today that really rose to that occasion. Huge show of the character, not just the quality of those boys. Yeah,
character's massive in these finals. When it's tight, it's the character that wins the game. Like we say, character's more important than skill. Your skill's nothing unless you've got the character, the work rate, the diligence to work hard. And this team have obviously got that in absolutely spades. I know Tom Williams still as a coach. He's a super bloke. He will be all about staying humble, working hard. We used to just call it just be a good bloke, and that's what it's all about. And they've shown loads of that, and they deserve to win. And like, you wouldn't bet against them winning it again next year. They've got a pretty much a factory line coming through the school, and they are going to be there or thereabouts next year as well.
Well, let's have a word for the groundsman. Of course, they win awards here. The pitch in fantastic condition. They've got a potential Grand Slam decider on Saturday. They've had 4 matches today, which must be driving the staff absolutely crazy. But they're straight back out there, maintaining a magnificent pitch. It's in great condition. It's one of the finest stadiums in the world. And let's bring it back to the players. What an opportunity to get out there and do it on the biggest of stages today.
It's unbelievable. We talk about it. They are very lucky, and we're lucky as a country that the RFU let these kids have it. Like, to let them play. Here goes the wall.
It's a lovely moment.
Absolutely brilliant to see. What was great, like the year we beat them, I think it was the first year they introduced that, but after the game they'd lost, they still did that. The players were still upbeat, the fans were still screaming. But yeah, I think it just shows the RFU are letting these boys come to play to Twickenham, and it is the highlight of of all those boys, win or lose, they will not forget today.
Well, thank you very much, Sam Howard. It's been an absolute pleasure to be alongside you today for 4 brilliant finals. That brings the curtain down on the England Rugby Schools Cup. Make sure you join Johnny Bryan and Joe Burns at 6:45 on Free Sports for the Bucks Super Rugby final round decider. Leeds Beckett versus Northumbria. That is one not to be missed. Just a reminder, we have plenty of live rugby union coming up on Free Sports. We'll follow the Bucks competition right through until the championship final at Twickenham, and of course we'll be bringing you highlights from the Rosslyn Park HSBC National Schools Sevens. And seeing as you sat next to me now, Sam, I'm going to be signing you up for co-commentary duties there as well. That is a week of rugby not to be missed. We have 4 new champions, the under-15 Vars Cup and under-18 Vars and Cup finalists have all played out, and the champions have been crowned. There are the victors of the biggest match in schoolboy rugby. Warwick are the RFU Under-18 Schools Cup champions. From myself, Dave Rogers, Sam Howard and all of us here at Free Sports, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to speaking to you again soon. Don't forget to join Joe Burns and Johnny Bryan at 6:45 for Leeds, Beckett and Northumbria. But until next time, we'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.
Chance here with the corner. Is he going to get there? He will do. Oh, the try! Into the Warwick 22. Dulwich. And Zegru, is he there? Dulwich College. The dynasty continues.
Blake Edwards. Edwards with a run. Just to see it.
Centre of the field. They're going to try and create and get through the gap again. And it's going to be Nick David to score. Warwick School